tell us a little bit about Fiji's policy and regulatory aspects of what you are really hoping to achieve in Republic of Fiji.
We as a nation really need to step up in terms of moving forward in terms of renewable energy. Fiji has made a strong commitment to transform its energy. Approximately 50 to 60% of our electricity generation is from renewable, mostly from hydro, and we aim to achieve 100% renewable by 2030.
Let me go to Mr. Ronald Meketa, Managing Director, National Energy Authority, Independent State of Papua New Guinea.
We're getting a lot of traction and support from the both multilaterals and the bilaterals, including Arena, Aisha on the setup of our Star Center is very successful. That we got almost over 50 megawatt in solar already installed aggregate, and within the next 5-10 years, we'll have another 50 to 100 megawatt of solar.
Sir, tell us a little bit about Fiji's policy and regulatory aspects of what you are really hoping to achieve in Republic of Fiji. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Director General ISA, Mr. Ashish Khanna. I also acknowledge my colleague, Cabinet Minister Hon'ble Patrick then, Republic of Mauritius. And of course, all protocols noted for our various development partners who are here, World Bank, ISA, and our various entities. So for Fiji, we are going through a period of transition as we move forward. The various presenters have highlighted the current challenges we face. Our fuel import bill is around US dollars 500 to 7 million a year. Of course, huge volatility right now, so that is increasing. So it's approximately 20% of the import bill. So we as a nation really need to step up in terms of moving forward in terms of renewable energy. Fiji has made a strong commitment to transform its energy. Approximately 50 to 60% of our electricity generation is from renewable, mostly from hydro, and we aim to achieve 100% renewable by 2030. With the report just presented from the World Bank, that's a very important report as we move forward. And accelerating solar deployment, the question was on regulatory certainty. Yes, that is a key challenge for us with the various entities. The World Bank report has indicated the Energy Fiji Limited, which is there, under the Fiji Electricity Act, and we also have the Fiji FCCC, Consumer Competition Commission, which regulates prices. So at the moment, one of the key challenges we're facing is that we consider the situation as a fuel emergency, but with that fuel emergency regulations essentially looks at the supply. So the supply at the moment is, we could label it as stable, but in terms of the prices, there's huge movement in the prices. So when we talk about managing fuel, we are managing the supply given our various high-level discussions with Singapore, Australia. And I'd just like to mention at this stage as a region, we, at our meeting in Papua New Guinea 4 weeks ago, we had agreed that the region needs a fuel coordinator. So that will be discussed at the Pacific Islands Forum Leaders Meeting. The idea is for that fuel strategic coordinator to coordinate and have a regional approach in terms of fuel security. So whether we have strategic fuel reserves, etc., based in the islands or Australia or even New Zealand, that will be a key point of discussion. So going back to that regulatory framework question, We in Fiji at the moment, we have the FCCC Act and Electricity Act containing the, I would say, the generation, transmission, distribution, and also the regulatory function. But I think the arena for working with us in terms of the review of that. So the recommendations which are there sort of recommends the separation of the regulatory function from the Fiji Electricity Act. So that is something we are currently working towards. Not only that, but also the frameworks in terms of the licensing of independent power producers, etc. That needs to be streamlined. And I'm glad to have met the Hon'ble Minister from Mauritius. And learning experiences in terms of that would be very, very useful as we move forward. But through that review, we as a transition measure, we are establishing the Energy Investment Advisory Committee, which looks at not only standardizing power purchase agreements, but improving project pipelines and accelerating, and also establishing, I would say, a rational tariff framework, considering all factors. And I'll stop there for now, but there are other developments we have in place, working not only with our Department of Energy, we have our staff here, and also with our main electricity producer, which is a majority government-owned entity, Energy Fiji Limited, with Japanese investors who are also here. And we have a pipeline of renewable energy projects through them, and also with the World Bank. But also working closely within the ministry, we have a Department of Energy. There is a Fiji Rural Electrification Fund there, where we have invited our development partners to contribute to that, but focusing mainly on rural electrification. So when we do that, we also are looking at standalone solar grids, and also hybrid. So it would be a mix of solar and diesel, and maybe moving forward various forms of clean or green fuels. So in a nutshell, I thought I'll stop there and then contribute later on other elements. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable Minister, for giving us details on some of the policy and regulations. We will have more discussions as we go ahead. Let me go to Mr. Ronald Meketa, Managing Director, National Energy Authority, Independent State of Papua New Guinea. Mr. Meketa, you heard about the importance of the fiscal impact that's happening because of especially the West Asia war. Can you tell us a little bit about the priorities of Papua New Guinea, especially if you can also relate how you are balancing the requirement of both utility scale grid projects, but also a lot of solar rooftops and decentralized grid opportunities of solar as well? Over to you, please.
Thank you. Good morning, all. Firstly, I want to thank the World Bank and Asia for selecting Bali to host us. Beautiful. I was in Bali. My first time here was in 2013 on my way to South Sumatra to do my master's in chemical engineering here in Indonesia. So I'm educated in Indonesia. Now, as our presenter earlier, before we took states, you can see on the board, she presented that PNG's connectivity rate is only 21%. So for us, for the national government, is to connect homes and islands is our priority under our medium-term development plan 4. So that's from 2022 to 2025, of course, with support from the World Bank, especially our big multilateral partner, World Bank and ADB. And under the 5 subsector plan in the medium-term development 4, more priority on generation, transmission, distribution, renewable energy, and rural electrification. So Papua New Guinea, we share half of the island of New Guinea. On the other side is the Papua Barat and the Papua provinces. And also we got 600 islands. So of the 600, 300 habitats. So we got to connect. So it's small pico grid systems that will work for the islands as well as for the mainland. It's quite big. Our land size is quite bigger than New Zealand, I would say. But connectivity is our priority, and given the disconnect, it presents us the opportunity for the government to prioritize its investment sector to connect those areas using renewables. So our policy is more renewable energy driven policy for the government to focus on the potentials we have in the renewable space, and we're getting a lot of traction and support from the both multilaterals and the bilaterals, including Arena. Aisha on the setup of our star center is very successful. That we got almost over 50 megawatt in solar already installed aggregate, and within the next 5-10 years, we'll have another 50 to 100 megawatt of solar also added onto the system. So when our good director DG attends comes to the Pacific for meeting in PNG, will be launching another 50 megawatt solar. So our government is very supportive in terms of connecting renewables to the grid. We don't have a clear fiscal incentives that will benefit our partners, but the government commits when, for instance, we had a Chinese company who built a 54 megawatt hydro in Papua New Guinea with 1 megawatt floating solar. The government, at no cost to the IPP, built the 66 high voltage transmission from the hydro and the floating solar to the main grid. So our government is very supportive without clear fiscal sort of a policy directive, but with genuine partners who are serious in putting down dollars for investment, then government comes in and support in terms in monetary values. So that's the sort of approach ad hoc that our government is sort of encouraging renewable in the space. Just 2 months ago, we just commissioned our biggest solar farm, 7.4 DC solar with 2 megawatt hour battery storage. Without a PPA, the investor, as a local Papua New Guinean, went ahead and put 50 million kina into the investment. And so the government came in and said, all right, you got the system installed. So it was a good bargaining for our utility company to negotiate the PPA. So unlike the other IPPs, you have to negotiate the PPA, reach the FID before you go into the final investment decision. So we got the market is quite niche. We have the potential to encourage more connectivity, but then the government, we still have policies and fiscal incentives in draft stages that we want to get it to cabinet to approve so that we can support and encourage. And one of the policy that we want to drive is with support from ADB and of course with TA from World Bank is the renewable energy policy specifically that separates from energy sector policy incentives that we want to do. And the government also is very keen on renewable green-based derivatives like green hydrogen, green ammonia. There's big commitment in that space, and we got the potential to do that. So in terms of renewable potential, we're quite bigger than the renewable potential for Australia, I should say, put together. But a lot needs to be done in this space. So thank you.
Thank you very much for talking about some of the new projects commissioned and the renewable energy policy.